Okay, so this is part 2 of week 11, Tuesday's lecture. So picking back up on counter arguments and how you can either refute or concede to those. And in this example, we're looking at CSU administration. So earlier I showed an argument to CSU administration that they should consider canceling class more often when it snows. Now, normally I would have you guys as a group decide on 2 or 3 counter arguments that are most likely to have your claim. So why they shouldn't cancel class, and then decide if you're going to either refute or concede to that counter argument. So normally you would again talk to the class about this and share your answers, but we won't be able to do that. So instead, I want you guys to think about what you would do with a counter argument that CSU administration presents to canceling class when it snows. Would you concede or would you refute it? So, final word on counter arguments. You don't have to address every counter argument to your claim, but you must address at least one. And usually it's a better idea to just address one so that you can fully develop it rather than mentioning a bunch and not really going into them. So you want to make sure that you flesh these out as much as possible. So now what I think you should do is make a list of possible counter arguments that your stakeholder audience has or may have heard of. And make sure that you have sources that represent these viewpoints. And then decide on whether you're going to refute, concede, or ignore those counter arguments. And you may find that one of these is stronger than the rest of them, or one of these is the thing that your stakeholders most likely to say as a counter argument versus others. So you may want to choose that one out of all of the ones that you list. So address your counter arguments separately using appropriate transitional language. So something that you might use to indicate to your reader that you're going to discuss a counter argument would be, however, some opponents may argue that, and then you go into the counter argument at that point. So another thing that is important is where you place this counter argument, and really the placement depends on how opposing your stakeholder audience is. So let's talk about organizational patterns for these.